All right, so what we were talking about with the dollar index. So following the dollar, if the dollar goes down, this index comes down, which we've seen, this is the zone it comes to, right? And so you can kind of anticipate, what's going to kind of happen if the US dollar is decreasing in value. Then we can expect anything that's paired, we call majors, is going to increase and go up. So USD, if we're looking at this drop here, this is going to continually happen. Now remember, if the Feds say that we are increasing interest rates, if they increase interest rates, the dollar is going to increase in value. Okay, it's going to get stronger. So you're probably thinking like, huh? Because what happens is foreign money is pulled in because as interest rates go up, people want to invest because they're getting returns on the interest that are being increased. That's why Feds do that. So if we have, if this goes up to this point here, okay, you can expect all of these gold to drop. Let's see, anything paired against the US dollar, GBP USD will drop because the US dollar is going to get stronger unless there's some GBP news that outweighs the US news, okay? And so you got to look at those factors as well. USD UCAD will go up, will increase. USD CHF will increase, okay, if this ends up going up. So understanding the relationship between the indices, okay, and the actual pairs can also help you out as well too, right? So let's look at a couple things here. Now, when looking at the cloud, okay, we already talked about demand zones. Demand zones is anywhere where price has went up by at least 50 pips to 100 pips or more. Okay, we consider that a demand zone. Okay, where buy orders are sitting, and then vice versa, supply zone sitting at the top. Okay, which where sell orders are there. All right, so let's look at a couple charts here. We're gonna focus on the Ichimoku cloud. You guys can put that on right now. The settings we're gonna use are 9, 26, 52, 26. Okay, we can talk about the change there. Let's look at, I like looking at US 30. So let's take a look at US 30. What's happening here? Now, when looking at the green portion of the cloud represents an increase or represents a uptrend, for example, right? Red represents the downtrend. Now, this is what we call, anytime you see price twist right here, call it Kumo twist. It's a change in direction. So that change in direction happened here. Now, like we said before, if you're looking at indicators to enter the market to sell or buy, right? Anytime that we call the red line, the conversion line crosses over the baseline, the blue line, okay? And let's talk about that. And you got to change these colors in the chart. Let's go and look at that. So your conversion line is red, your baseline is blue, okay? They call this the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen, all right? You don't have to know all that. You just need to know red line cross above the blue line. So you can change yours like this if you want to take a picture, okay? Red and green. And basically they're just signal lines. So I'll tell you, I've been doing this for so long. When you see things like this, you start seeing the way that these signal lines start curving. You understand, okay, momentum is going to push up, continue up to the upside based on me seeing that. Of course, I've already did my technical analysis as well too, okay? But when we're looking at this trend, this is trending up. Now you have some simple strategy that we can talk about for beginners. If you start with the daily, and you can start with weekly too, but if we start with the daily and say, I'm just trying to look the overall direction of the currency, which we know we're in an overall uptrend. The market has been bullish, okay? Now, these are big swings here. So just because it's bullish, you can say, I'm just going to buy. Now you buy right here. This thing pulls back here depending on your lot size, okay? You can blow your account if you're not using the proper risk management. But if you're just saying, listen, I'm leveraging, this is for those who are using prop firms. I'm leveraging 200K, all right? My max drawdown that I can have per day with a 200K account is $10,000, okay? When you start doing the math and you say, okay, well, what is $10,000? Well, if I decide to do a standard in my $200,000 leveraged account, okay, and I can pull back a max of $10,000 in equity, then we divide that by a standard, which is $10 per pip. Okay, you have 1,000 pips. Now, the goal is not to allow it to pull back 1,000 pips, all right? You want to enter the market precisely. The more that you enter the market precisely, the more chance you can make more money and not be in a situation where you have to hold a trade, especially dealing with prop firms, okay? Most prop firms do not allow you to hold the trades over the weekend, so that you have to make sure that you pay attention to that. If you do, it doesn't matter. You just let that thing run and using proper risk management, and every time it hits into profit, you close it out. Okay, some people are just swinging their accounts and allowing them to do that. That's cool. Okay, we're not in any situation where it may drop out of the sky here. But I would still what you can do is put a stop loss either at what percentage. So if your daily max is 10,000, you say, well, you know what? I'm gonna risk $2,500. I'll risk $2,500 per trade. That gives you 4 shots at making a big move to the downside or upside. Okay. So for example, looking at US 30, and we understand it's bullish right now. Okay. Now, yes, we're in a correction here. So what I'm trying to determine here for myself, okay, this is what I'm looking at is, hey, most people do probably want to enter here. This is taking a chance trying to enter here. Okay. Because what can possibly happen? Price can actually come down here. Okay. Before it shifts back up. Now, the cloud kind of tells us exactly what price is going to do. And it's really following on very well. If price stays above the cloud, obviously we're still in our uptrend. You can see price came down. Okay. Broke previous structure here and then went back up. And here we are, because this was our initial uptrend here. Okay. Price broke initial structure here. Okay. We were no longer in that uptrend. And then what does it do? It's recreating it again. And then it goes up, creates another, another high, or really kind of that top here, comes back down for the correction, then creates a high. Okay. So what are we looking for now? We're looking for that may be our low, or we may get something down here if it breaks this area here. So I'm personally, for US 30, because I feel it's still bullish, I'm looking for a buy opportunity with US 30, no matter what. Okay. I'm just looking to see when price is going to settle down. Okay. So I can enter the market for the buy. So you don't always have to trade every single day. You can look for that one trade that will set you up for the week. So giving you another example, if you're leveraging a 200K account, okay, if you only make, let's say you make 1%, you make 1% for the week, that's $2,000. So all that you need to produce in your prop firm account without breaking or violating the rules is you do 1% a week. 1% a week of a 200K account is $2,000. That's $8,000 a month that you can make trading and not over risking your account. You don't have to. Okay. Just make a little bit. And I'm going to show you guys that even trading a $25,000 account the same exact way. Okay. You trade it with small, and you don't look for the super gains. Just look for 1% gain in these large accounts that you have. And trust me, it'll make your trading life so much simpler. So what I'm waiting for example, here's what you can do. Okay. I'll tell you several strategies. We know this zone right here, that price keeps on rejecting off this area here. So if I feel that price is going to reject, I may take a small position here, enough to get in, but just in case price wants to continue, okay, there's several things I'm going to do. Either I don't want to, if I come here, I'll set my stop loss. If I decide to enter this market here, then I'll set my stop loss right below. Okay. Now, likely it can take your stop loss off, have an alert here, or you can try to enter the market here. Okay. Either way, or, okay, the other option is wait for this next zone here. Okay. The ultimate zone. Okay. But let's look at the cloud. I'm gonna give you guys an easy example of how to know whether you're going into a buy or a sell, right? So obviously this is our daily candle. It's bearish today. The 4 hour, okay, is above the cloud, right? We all kind of know this information here. The 1 hour is still above the cloud. Now the cloud acts as a support area as well too. So green cloud, when price is above it, acts as a support area. So even if I didn't have this green mark here, I could use this as support. So if price respects this area here, meaning you see what it's doing is pulling back, it didn't hit this area inside the cloud, but now it's correcting and it's going back. So if I did want to enter the market, I could enter the market now, right? And just in case, put my stop loss below. Now here's what I'll tell you. Pay attention to this red. Anytime price is below your signal lines, would I enter the market? No. Okay. If I'm paying attention, I'm using this indicator the right way. No, I'm not enter the market now. Now, if you're just a naked trader, when I say naked trader, you're just trading because you understand looking at your zones, right? So we can see price. Remember we talked about how many pips it goes up? Price went up 200 pips here. Okay. And then what happened again? Price went up. When it hit that area again, another 180 some pips, right? Now you can see price didn't come back to this area. So what we may get is price may come here to fill the rest of this up and then push back up, right? But currently it is still above the cloud on our 1 hour, still above the cloud on our daily, still above the cloud on our 4 hour. So we're in a bullish market. Now this is our 30-minute. You don't have to really look at 30 minutes, but it's below the cloud on the 30-minute. Now, anytime that you see the cloud go sideways, okay, This is sideways, not a trend. It's letting you know that price is in consolidation. So what does consolidation mean? You have buyers and sellers building up in this area to determine which direction is this going to go. So now I look at my 30-minute. Anytime that red crosses the blue, it hasn't crossed the blue yet. So you got to be careful not to let this trick you. When it crosses the blue, it is an indication for a sell. Okay. When it's below the cloud, it's a strong indication. When it's above the cloud, it's a weak indication. All right. Now, remember, we're on our 30-minute. Everything else we're bullish on as far as our daily, 4-hour, 1 hour, even our weekly is bullish as well, too. Everything's above the cloud here. Till we get to our 30-minute. This is where we enter the market at. We determine how we're going to enter the market. Okay. So we feel that this is going to shift up and do the same exact thing, which I feel it may. We're at 39. This would be probably a good entry point, okay, to take a risk at to see if we can get this gain here. All right. And this is where this is where you start putting targets at. Obviously, if I was going to this trade here, my stop loss would go here. Okay. My first target would probably be somewhere. So we're at 100. My first target would be here. Second target would be somewhere around this area here, or you can make it here. And then my last target would be here. Okay. And if you want to have a fourth target, once it breaks structure here to continue up, then it will be after it breaks this point. But obviously, getting into this, put stop loss and profit, and boom. Okay. So here we go. Price is respecting this area still. Okay. So that's one retest on our 30-minute. We can see what it looks like on the 15-minute as well, too. Once again, on the 15-minute, once again, price is sideways. Now you can clearly see price is sideways on our 15-minute. So we were in our trend up. Price went sideways. What does that mean? It needs to determine where is it going to go from here. Is it going to go up, or is it going to continue down to this area? Okay. If it decides to go through this point, for me to enter a sell to catch this, if I wanted to, okay, me personally, I'm not going to do any sales for US 30 because I feel US 30 is going to remain bullish. But if I did want to get the sell, I would wait for it to come through this area, bust through. Don't enter the market here just because it goes back past here temporarily. You need to close past this area, come back, retest this zone, okay, before you can even consider going into it for a sell, okay? And this is where you have to make the overall goal. What do you want to do? You want to just take buys? You want to just take sells? You don't have to ever sell. You don't ever have to short the stock. I mean, short the currency. Okay, you can just wait for setups for buys. And I'm looking at this right here. I'm gonna go in for this buy here. So I'm gonna take my chance in this buy here. Why? So also the cloud lets you know potentially future moves. So when you see like this right here, it's telling you price is going to shift back up. And when it's this thin, it's letting you know that price will break that back through. Now, looking at any time that the cloud, you see these signal lines, this is your conversion line, your baseline. When they go sideways here, it's telling you also the market is consolidated. All right. Okay. What you want is when price comes in, typically, if you want to enter the market correctly, okay, besides, obviously, we know our zones here. So I enter the market because I'm going to put a stop loss below here, right? Price is reversed here several times. But when price goes above this signal line, we can expect that this is going to cross over. And really, that's our signal to go into the buy, okay? Once this red line crosses over the blue line, all right? That's what we have for US 30. Feel free to ask any questions that you. Let's look at GJ right now, okay? So just same things happen for GJ, right? So we look at GJ, okay, GBP, JPY. We see prices already broke above its previous structure. So it created the next high here. So that's our higher high. Okay, now we're looking for a potential of our lower low, which we've already got. This one came back and corrected. And what I'll tell you is there's something called measured moves. Okay, the market moves pretty much the same distance every time. Okay, so right around that point, you see price corrected back to this area. Boom, it's about the same. So what we're expecting? A measured move here. So if it does the same similar move, we can expect price to come here, which guess what that represents, okay? And before it continues up, somewhere around that area. But if you get antsy and you say, I want to make the move now, enter a very small lot size if you think it's going to continue. But that's the overall, before I enter GJ, I'm waiting for a correction to happen, okay? Because it's due for one. So this is where you have to be cautious and say, when is that correction coming? It's coming, and it's always by surprise. But let's look at this overall. Here's what the cloud tells us. Anytime we see these dips, These dips tell us when there's going to be a correction somewhere. It's not guaranteed that it's going to go in this area, but we know that a correction is due somewhere in this area here. Okay, so we're waiting for price to pull back in some shape or form. All right, let's go farther. Okay. So we have our cloud. Look, it's letting you know it's continued. This may continue up. If this red line curves and this blue line curves up and gets behind our price is pushing momentum. Anytime, let's see if I can explain it. No, I can't use that line. We'll see if we can find one. I'm going to show you. I've been doing this for so long. You'll see where these lines, they have this hook that is going to do. Okay. And it's letting you know, okay, price is momentum, enter the market for the buy, right? And look, let me show you US 30. US 30 just made that. This is that move right there. Okay. It may shift all the way down here. This is what we're waiting for. But let's see, because what happens is as soon as you get in the trade, anybody know, as soon as you get on the trade, it just continues and goes the opposite direction. Okay, what's going to happen is we're going to wait for it to either reject off of here or it's going to break structure here and close. And this will be a decision point at what you can make. Now, if this remains engulfing for the daily, let's say it closes here for the daily, then we're going to expect price to continue down. This is where personally I run things like you run your Fibonacci. And so this is the area we expect somewhere in this zone here, okay, for price to come down and then reverse back up. But ultimately, like I said, looking for your overall buy when it comes to trading US 30 for myself. Because when you buy, when you know that you're trading the trend, okay, the hardest, the easiest part to do is just ride the trend. Okay. And so and then make sure that you adhere to when structure is broken. When structure is broken, it's no longer in an uptrend. All right, I'm getting out of the trade. When we talked about that curve, this is where it does that momentum. So this is getting behind it and it's going to push this down. But what's going to happen is I can see when you start looking at these indicators as well too, price is still going to come back up. All right, that's what I see here. But here we are. We're in the zone now. Let's see how price responds. All right, so let's get back to GJ. Once again, looking at the cloud for GJ. So here we are on our 1 hour. We have that dip right there. Same thing, correcting back. Typically what price like to do off of this baseline is this is a strong support area as well too. This is like a moving support. All right. And so price is going to bounce off of here. Price will come here. It's going to bounce. All right. And so a lot of people like to use this. If this is also a zone area to determine their entry as well too. Okay. But once again, we looked at GJ above the cloud on the daily, above the cloud on the 4 hour. Okay, above the cloud on the 1 hour. All right, and then we have you don't have to look at 30 minutes, but it's above the cloud on the 30 minutes as well too. Okay, it's obvious this is an uptrend. We can see the trend up, right? So here's our correction. All right, so what are we looking for? We're going to look for our entry off of that correction. Because overall, GJ is bullish. And so that you know, JPY is what do they call it? It's pegged to the US dollar as well too. So when you're looking at GJ, almost consider GJ like GU, except GJ just moves really fast. Okay, so consider that JPY at the back end almost like the US dollar. And once again, you can see when you're looking at zones, once again, you can see price adhering to this area here. So I'll tell you what can possibly happen here. Um, Obviously this line has and a lot of people like to use this as stop loss, by the way, too. So if you were to go into a buy, a lot of people actually use this. They'll put their stop loss right below this. So let's say that you decide to go into a buy and you went to a buy right here. You would put that stop loss here, and then of course you look left to see when your next target point is. So if I went to a buy here for GJ, I'm going to go here to my daily. Hey, what is my next target point? I can tell you I already have it out here. It's farther up. Okay. Price hasn't been here for a while. Right. So this will be my next target area here. So that's what I have. So that's potentially, and obviously to get there, it's going to be some up and downs here, but the potential for it to go to about 193. Okay. And I believe GJ is going to push up to these areas. 192. We should probably hit, it's probably 192 this week. Is what I believe. Unless we have some news that says otherwise. All right, so above the cloud on all these charts here, okay, we're looking for the potential for the buy. Once again, using proper risk management, if you decide to go in, just make sure you have enough not to blow your account as well as to sustain. Look at, and if you see, look at what's happening, and let's go back to US 30 because I'm in that trade as well. And look at what it's doing. Okay. Now we just got to wait for it to, wait for it to close out, or it's going to roll back up. Okay. Right? Like clockwork. Price is respecting, but we don't know if that's the end. Don't get caught. Just you're gonna wait for pure confirmation, or like I said, stop losses. Okay. All right, let's head back to GJ. Any questions so far with the cloud? Here goes GJ. Same thing. So here we are at the cloud, right? If you once it goes above here, let's say it pops above and this line crosses. Okay, that's your red crossing over the blue. Okay, everything is above the cloud. That would be a perfect buy indication. Like GJ actually looks pretty good for a buy as well too. Okay, if it doesn't make this pullback, really I think this is it right here. It made that correction already. So this may actually continue. Actually, there's a bigger pullback I think we should expect. But this is what stop losses are for, okay? Stop losses in place, and you'll protect what you have. But potentially, you have a buy set up here, okay? Once again, stop loss here. And I would say the next place I'm looking towards is about 192. So that's about 90. I think that's like 90 pips. Okay. All right, let's go down the road. Let's go down this road now. Let's kind of look at everything. All right, here goes gold. Okay, we can see that once again. You see how it's so crazy how this works, right? And I have an alert line here actually for the buy. This buy was already called on my alert line. But once again, you see where on the 1 hour, okay, right now price is below the conversion line. The price is going to probably pop above this. What's going to happen is this is going to curve above, boom. It's going to create some momentum. And then your next target, once again, potentially, okay, target 1 for gold. If we end up confirming the buy, right? Probably target 1. Depending on when you get in. If you decide to get in now, this will be a little bit more riskier, of course. Okay, stop loss will go here. It can take your stop loss out. But if you were willing to risk this, you would go in now. But remember, it can take your stop loss out. There's not much momentum here yet. I would wait. But this would be my first target. This would be my second target. Stop loss. Once again, you see the cloud, how it came through here. These are support lines already built in. I don't have to chart it out really. It's here already. Okay. So will price go? So treat price like it may climb this mountain like this. Okay. So as you see this green forming, it's letting us know that yes, this was correction. This was a correction. Now the Kumo twist is showing us there's going to be a price change. There's a direction change. So if you decide to go into this, yes, this is a direction change here. Another thing that we see, okay, we can talk about, it's not much diversion here, just a little bit, okay, but it's here. So when this is crosses above, that shifts up, you can enter for the buy. So I would say entering for the buy somewhere around 2030. But we got to make sure we get past this point. Look at our 15-minute. Here goes our 15-minute. So we're kind of seeing this play out as well too. We'll see how anytime that you see a thin layer of the cloud, this is letting you know that this is gonna, it's easy for price to bust through this. If it's thick, then it's likely that it's not gonna do that. When it's really thin like that, it's giving you an indication like, hey, there was a lot of momentum that happened. So expect that price may actually bust back through here. Okay. We have some divergence on the chart, basically too. Convergence. So your MACD is your moving average convergence divergence tool. Okay. So letting you know when things don't match up in the market. So we look at this. When I say convergence, this is what I mean. So I see how price was shifting down here. Well, volume was still getting weaker here on the way up. So this is where we have that correction. So we can expect that price is going to probably shift up. That kind of goes with us looking at the DXY, right? And we know that DXY is probably going to come down for a little bit somewhere around this area. Okay. And we see it. DXY is decreasing. So therefore, all these things that are majors are going to go up and increase. Okay, same thing. JPY, even though it's not USD, JPY represents like USD is pegged to the US dollar. Okay, so we see that that's happening here. Okay, so anybody who out for JPY, let me go ahead and put this on here. If I were looking to enter JPY, this would be my stop around this area. Okay, that's a tighter stop. And then, like I said, the potential is taking it up to 192. So in between that, because you have a pretty tight stop here. So you can do a 30 pip. So here's the first, when I look at things like this, that's 10 pips right here. I mean, you could do 10 pips if you wanted to, but somewhere around this area, okay, that'll be my first stop. So that will be, so get you around from right as that now, that's 15 pips. Because price can just reject off. Why are we doing this? Because price can just reject off and come back down. So boom, you either put your stop loss at break even or you put it in profit somewhere around this area. Okay. And then we can expect price to shift up, right? That's our goal. Oh, stuff here. So now you start setting different points. So either you go left and you see where price had, what you're going to go far left. Let's go. Let's see if we can push daily. All right, I was trying to see if I can go back, but it's farther. So those target points, me personally, what I would do, my target points will be that first one here, and then midway, which will be 191. So probably around 191, 500 or 600, and then 192 will be the final target there. Okay. Now this is a tight stop loss here. You could actually take it all the way down here if you wanted to. So here or tighten up. That will all depend on your lot size. Okay, your stop loss will depend on your lot size, and your risk tolerance and risk level for your account. Okay, so GJ, that's what I'll be looking for there, long term. We're getting our correction with US 30. Let's see what we look at. So we'll see what the day looks like with US 30. Right now there's a so there's an EMA 200. Let me bring you up there's also if you use moving averages, EMA 200s here, and then on the 15-minute, actually went past on the 15-minute here. Okay, once again, you see this area here. Okay, when you see that, it's there's going to be either a pullback here or price is going to break through here. But ultimately, US 30 is going to be bullish overall. Let's go for the rest of these. We talked about gold. Gold already making this move. It's already making this move up. We just talked about this, didn't we? So gold up to 2035. I was going to this one. Okay, stop loss can be either several ways, like I said, either down here, or if you want to tighten it up, it can be in this area. If you decide to enter now and you felt price is going to shift up to this area, it's enter the market here, stop loss right below. Okay, which that gives you a tight stop here. I have not entered for gold, so I want you guys to know that. All right, but here's also this will be a good stop right here as well. When I say stop, I'm talking about TPs, take profits, or into the market, or put your stop loss in profit. That's potentially a TP1. Right. When we talk about that dip here, so here's this correction happening now for AJ. And for those, let's say you decide to trade against the trend. Now, obviously, we're looking at the daily, right? And you see the daily start off bearish, and you know it's going to be bearish, like something like this. If you were to enter a market, one thing I will tell you, if you enter a market against the actual overall trend, I would never, you should always put your stop loss in place, right? So if for example, if I had entered the market today for AJ for a sell, okay, your stop loss will go above the previous high here, okay? Just in case this thing decides to turn around, because this is how people blow their accounts, right? Not securing your capital. Me personally, yes, I'm looking at this. Would I take a chance to enter this? No, not personally. But what do I see it possibly going? To that target point right there. I like to personally trade with the trend. Yeah, it's a slow mover. For some, it can be good it is a slow mover. Yeah. Um, okay, yeah, TP1's for the sell. Okay. All right. So, I mean, it's 50 pip potential. Okay. But like I said, I'm expecting this to go up. So overall, I will wait. I would prefer to wait for the entry versus to enter against the trend. So you can just set your alerts here. So when it hits, you get a decision to make a decision. Is it going to continue or is it going to go back up? All right. And what do we have? I never trade the Swedish franc. Let's go here. Now, when we look at this, right? So now, okay, we were once this was trending up, and now what's happening? We're trending down. Okay, this is actually a downtrend, right? We have our high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, okay, lower low. Then we broke structure. Okay. So now we can see what price is. Price going to continue. Remember, we talked about this cross. See how this acts as a support zone, support area. And then when that red crosses the blue, it is a signal for a buy indication. Now we're getting that on our daily. So if this happens to be where it's changing directions, and now we're going to trend up, let's see what we got. Same thing. This breaks down trading. So to me, it's so simple when you see it, right? So if I decide to enter the market here, right, take it up to a point here. If I was taking that risk, that's about 50 pips here. Stop loss here. There's so many opportunities when you actually can see them. Okay, so going down to the 4 hour. Now this is AUD CAD. Take it lower. What do we look like? Price reversed every time off of this area here, right? So this would be one of the first target areas actually. So this is a potential for at least 30 pips. First target, and then this will be around the second target, right? So you have potential for about 30 to 60 pips. But I'll wait for this. You got to wait for candles to close. See if it does exactly what these have done, right? So if this price closes here, okay, remember price wasn't here before. So let's see what price may close here. And then if we get an engulfing candle above this one, then it's potential for you to enter, put the stop loss below. Yeah, yeah, uh, exactly. And then there's going to be pairs. Response to you, Shadrach. Yeah, at the end of the day, there's going to be shares that trace you like. I just don't like to trade that pair. Okay, this is for me. This is what I see with AUD CAD. Sometimes these are just easy ones, especially when they adhere to these zones here. So it's like you can play with this a little bit. Buy, sell, but just always put your stop loss. When you look at zones, when you're trading in between consolidated areas on the big frames, I like trading like this because it's simple. Boom, stop loss just goes below. Okay, enter a buy, stop loss here, enter a sell, stop loss here. Okay, and you just play in between these lines as well too. And don't over leverage. Don't be so sure of yourself that you do such a big lot size that you're blowing a majority of your account. Okay. And here we go. We got US 30 bounced off our 200 and shifting back up now. I'm probably going to enter for another trade. and I'm personally in US 30 for a buy. All right, what do we have? Me personally, I don't know if you guys want to see it. I don't never trade New Zealand dollar. So we'll move past that one. All right, look at our daily. Okay, same things applying. All right, we're looking at our AUD pairs. Okay, below the cloud on our daily. Okay, strong zone above here. So based off it, it's already moved. It's moved 50 pips. Okay, well, that's our daily. It's moved. Let's see, 6563, 30 pips so far. Okay, with potential of coming down here. All right, so above the cloud on our 4 hour. So it's a, remember we talked about this. So below the cloud here, okay, this is our blue line. It could, remember I said this acts as support. It may respect that line, that support area. So we have potential for a head and shoulders here too. So when you start, let's look at what a head and shoulders look like. Actually, it's right here. So potential head and shoulders, right? 1, 2, 3, and then boom. So we'll see if this corrects back up and shifts all the way, shifts back up. But this is AUD USD. Remember USD, it's getting weaker right now. So yes, this is dropping. Remember our DXY is also dropping as well too. But when that starts shifting up, it gets stronger. Okay. It will send, let's go back to AUD USD. It will send this more down, but everything's actually coinciding what potentially may happen here. I think that AUD will continue to the upside. Once again, we just gotta adhere to what the price is doing at this time. Okay, so here we are on the 4 hour. This is a zone here. This is our zone here. Let's see how many. What the first off 65 300. Okay, some demand here. So let's see if price shift back up. Once again, here goes the cloud. So it may climb this. You can see this red line is starting to hook here. So it's no momentum to the downside at all right now. Well, give it some time. If this ends up shifting up, we can expect that AUD USD is going to go up continue up for a buy. Okay, but let's look at the rest of the chart. So above the cloud on the 4 hour, below the cloud on the 1 hour. Okay, 15 minutes below. Okay, so definitely let's watch because this may, personally, I wouldn't go in for the buy here. All right. Why? Because even if it starts pushing up, it still has to come past this zone here. So I would wait till price actually breaks above before I consider this one. So nothing for AUD USD. Tried a GA a couple times. I mean, it doesn't matter. I've traded a couple times. All right, so let's look at our daily. All right. Just shift above the cloud on the daily. Came out of this correction here. So, you see how prices, it looks like it's going to just push up. Doesn't look like it's just going to go. But I'll tell you why I don't feel why it's not. Okay, this is telling you it's went sideways. This is consolidation. Okay. So let's go. Let's look more and see what we got going on. All right, there we got our shift up. Now this remember I talked about that line here. So we have red cross over the blue here. Okay. If this blue gets behind this red, it will push this all the way up. And when that happens, okay, so if you're watching this, we look left. Okay, that will be one of our first targets right here. How many pips is that? 30, 40 pips. And then probably my last target if I were to go in there. But personally, I think there's better trades out there. That's 100 pips right there. They're better trades, but because you see prices sideways right now. So this, it will, just like it came out here, it will go up here and it can drop as well. But that could be a target. With this red and blue coming behind it, it will probably create some momentum if it is going to shift up for the rest of the way. Or it may have already hit this area and it may actually continue downwards. Okay, because we're right off the 61.8. Okay, so it definitely needs to break that area there. All right, let's look at the 1 hour. So it needs to break past this area here. You see the wick, we got wick. So it looks like it may come down first before it does anything. All right, so let's look at the next one. GU's been in a nice channel here. This is on the daily here. Now, when we look at the daily, remember I said the cloud represents it could be support or resistance. So we just ran a line across here and we've seen that's what's happening, right? All right, we're at our time here, but I'm gonna finish up some stuff. If you have some questions, please let me know. Oh, major profit on US 30. Oh, there we go. I'm putting if you're in the US 30 trade, you are in profits. 39, 136. And it's hitting that blue there. I'm gonna close mine out. That's enough right there. That's a 1% gain for the day right there on my account. Okay. When we talk about US 30, let's go back and I closed out. So I entered in. Where did I enter it? Where do I enter it at? I entered it at 39,105. Entered in here. And then just got out here. Remember I said that blue line? So here's waiting for it. Because I know it is going to charge past that, but I'm going to re-enter the market once it gets past this point. It's going to pass this, probably come back and test a little bit. Then I'm going to enter the market again, put stop loss below. But I just secured that profit there. Okay. And really the market can be just that simple. When you see simple areas like this that you can take the risk and say, it's likely that price is going to reverse here. Why? Because it's reversed here every time this came to this area. And then when it gets back here, it's likely price can potentially reverse here, but I know that this is a bullish overall. So I'm expecting to only buy when dealing with US 30. Okay. And I'll tell you, that's where I've been the most successful in my trading journey, with trading with the trend and not against the trend. Anytime you find yourself trading against the trend, okay, you're going to find yourself getting into a bad trade. And then think about, you're going to either, if you didn't set a stop loss, you're going to say, man, is it going to come back? Is it going to reverse? And that's just a bad place to be in. But when you're trading with the trend, you just know that unless it breaks structure, okay, that price is going to return and continually to increase and go up, especially when you understand the fundamentals. Okay, we understand that what the U.S. is doing with interest rates. Okay, and so when you start understanding all that stuff too and working your trading, okay, you won't have any problems. So I think any questions so far about how to trade with the cloud? I know we looked at a couple pairs. Overall, what I want you to look at when you're looking for an opportunity market, if you're brand new, you look at is it above the cloud on the daily? Is it above the cloud on the 4 hour? Right? Is above the cloud on the 1 hour? Yep. Above the cloud on the 15-minute. It's an overall in an uptrend, right? So this is an uptrend. for example, here's a perfect prime example. Okay, this is GBP CAD, right? This is the previous low right here. Okay, this is where price is. We have strong support here. Okay. Now, obviously, we see our signal line. Everything is below our signal line. So, for those, if you're worried, if you're not don't understand structure, okay, you can just wait for it to go above the signal line, and when this crosses above the cloud, it's your indication to go into the buy. Okay. But overall, okay, what are we looking for? I look left. Let's say I decide to enter the market. There's a lot that's happening with these candles here. Okay. We see our blue baseline coming up, which if you trade the cloud before, you know what this is a momentum look. If this continues to push, this is going to push this up. Okay, so I would be looking for the buy here actually. All right, y'all. I swear my mind moves so fast. I'm looking for my arrow, and I know I just seen it. So that can be a target point. Okay, once again, 30 pips, first target point, and then your last target point. I think that is about 50 pips right there. 50 pips. Okay. And I'll put another target point here. Mhm. But it makes sense once we determine our overall direction, okay, then it's just determining how do we enter the market, when do we enter the market, okay? Now stop losses, you have several options, right? This is about a 30 pip stop loss here. So once again, when you know a 30 pip, now this is how you can determine your risk level of how much you want to risk your account. If you have $1,000 account, let's say you're just trading with an actual account, $1,000 account, and you say I only want to risk 3% of my account, so that's 30 bucks. All right, so that means if you're risking 30 bucks, that means I'm only going to do a micro lot, which is 1.10, which is a dollar per pip. Okay, a dollar per pip, I'll lose $30 here, I'll gain $50 here, and then what else is here? So we start to see that math. Pips correctly. I knew I wasn't doing that correctly. This is 40 pips right here. 40 pips, 78 pips. And this will be that was correct. It's 30 pips. I would probably take this first target up a little bit higher, actually. I don't know. Let's see. 15 pips here. Because price may just wick, it may wick and come back down. That's why I always do that first target like that. First target, when it gets to your first target, my recommendation is put your stop loss into break even or put it in profit. Okay. And then of course, don't enter the market until you have a good indication to enter the market. But this is what I see once price decides to turn back around. Okay, let's go down to these. Yep, looking good. Okay, you see our cloud, okay, above the cloud going up. So we can get our continuation there. What do we have on our 30-minute? Above the cloud on our 30-minute as well. But most of the time I just check the 15-minute. Okay, you can wait for price to go above the signal line here before you make the crossing. And then boom, enter your trade. Okay. Settings of the indicator are, if you can take a picture of this, let me see. Or I'll take a picture of this right here. And settings, I know some people use different settings here. No, whatever settings you use, get used to using them. Okay. Because I've been doing this for so long, you get used to what the cloud looks like, what it looks like when price is going to reverse, what these signal lines are going to do when price is really going to go back the other way. Okay. Yeah, I always feel like someone's probably entered this trade already. That's why this trade is starting to go down a little bit. It's going to do that to you. Okay. That's just what the Forex is heavily manipulated. But this is why you got to understand your checks, your balances, make sure that you are not prematurely entering the market as well too. But this looks good. I'm expecting price to actually shift up. Don't know what it's going to do. It can continue down a little bit more, but remember, this is our low. So as long as price doesn't break here, it's still an uptrend. Price can come all the way to this point right here. Okay. If it stops there, we're still an uptrend. Still trending upwards. Okay. And that's what you need to know. And if you just stick to the basics and the principles of uptrends and downtrends, you'll be just perfectly fine. Okay. I think we looked enough here. I've answered all your questions. I'll have this recording in our group here, and I'll see you guys on tomorrow. Hey, here's what I want to explain. I know I just introduced, I put a jot form in our group here. Turn my video back on here. All right, I put a jot form back in our group. So if you have an FTMO account, I know some of you had came over, we were doing some AI stuff. If you have an FTMO account and you want your FTMO challenge passed, okay, fill out that form. It's $800 one time. Okay, we'll put our system on it, get it passed. What's great about FTMO or TFT or Surge Trader, there's no limits on the amount of profit you can get from those prop firms, and they've been standing for a very long time. They're very legitimate prop firms, FTMO for sure. FTMO is actually coming back. I think they're going to start using DX Trade, I believe. And so I post that in the group. Get used to those trading platforms if you're going to use FTMO in the US. I think FTMO in overseas, anything outside the US, is still using MT4, MT5. So if you have an FTMO account, 100,000 or above, $800, get it passed, and then then we can talk about whether it's a profit share or whether it's a monthly for that account as well too, if you want it to be traded by the EA system. What else? If you're doing prop firms like Cartana or Quantec, there's so many. Listen, there's so many of them out there. What I'll tell you guys is just always do your research, because prop firms, they come and go. You got to understand the model. The model is they expect you to lose money. Okay. So, and which a majority of traders do lose money. 95% of traders lose money. Next Step Funded. I think did they just Next Step Funded? I always because they all sound the same. I think they're good, but I think they just had an issue in the United States, just like FTMO. The US is going after these prop firms if they're not regulated in the US and they're US clients. So if you are a US based person, okay, just know that you're going to run into some problems if you're using the prop firms. Just know the risk. Okay, the risk may be, hey, we're switching platforms, or we're stopped using US clients. We can't have no more US clients, or so forth. And then so you'll have to switch to another prop firm or something. But okay, leverage it as much as you can. You get to pay 1% of an less than 1% of an actually you get to pay 0.5%. I want you to really think about the opportunity. Okay, no matter who it is, whether it's FTMO, whether it's Surge, whether it's Cartana or whoever. Okay, most of them have the same prices. So, or Cartana, for example, you pay $750 to $900. A Quantec, same price. Okay, it's 0.5%. And what you have to do is pass the challenge. Now we'll deal with Katana. We can pass Cartana, we can pass Quantec. There's a lot of these new prop firms that we can actually pass with our bots within less than a day. The truth is less than 24 hours for sure. Okay, if you want that, I can provide that service for you. You just want to get a funded account right now that you want to start trading right now, that you make profit from right now. Okay, we can pass your prop firm today or tomorrow. Okay, you'll get a funded 200K. It only costs $200 to do that. Okay, so you let me know if you want to do that. We'll get your prop firm passed. Now, the only difference if the way that we pass it this way is they're gonna definitely limit your profits, but they do that regardless. Okay, the truth is, we don't like to go that route because we don't want to limit our profit. If I can be honest with you guys, listen. If you diversify your prop firms, you do different ones like Quantec, Cartana, FTMO, Surge, and you have multiple props under your management. Okay, making 5% is cool. Like Quantec, for example, allows you to put 1.2 million under management. So what does that mean? If you only did 5% of 1.2 million, okay, I think that's enough for everybody. So we do 5%. just 5%, or let's say 4%. You only do 1% per week on these accounts. So 4% of 1.2, it's 47,000. That's more than enough money, right? Most of you just $10,000 extra. So I really want you to put that in perspective because it will have a lot to do with your trading psychology. If you're in the market trying to get rich and make 10,000 in 1 week, you're going to blow your money. Okay. But you're like, I'm just getting here and scalp and make 1%, 1% for the week. Guess what? Because I've been trading that way. Last week I made 1.5%. Today I just made 1%. Okay. You're not going for the astronomical gains. You're making just enough. So when you get to withdrawal, okay, you haven't violated any rules, and boom, you make your 4% withdrawal. Boom, that's one of my accounts. And oh, now I got another account, made 4% there as well, too. So treat it like that so that you're not over trading. Your psychology is right. And you got your system down packed where, boom, I get a withdrawal this week on this one. I got a withdrawal this week on this one. I got a withdrawal this week on this one. And you're not going crazy, blowing your accounts or violating your accounts. All right. So the more that we do this, the more that you'll get better and understand. And if you want it, like I said, you don't want to do anything, you want it automated. Okay. We can handle all that. You're in my group already. Just fill out that form. I'll send you a Zelle request. And then we'll get you all set up. I'll get your prop firm information, and then we'll start getting your account traded for you. Okay, so we'll get it passed, whether FTMO, TFT, or Surge. Okay, those are your long ones. Those are going to cost $800. And then you have your quick ones like your Cortana, your Quantec, anything that allows you to do a high frequency type of bot. We can pass those overnight. Okay, really fast. All right, so that's what I have for you guys. Appreciate you all being on, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Let's start. I think this is a better time for me as well, too. Let's expect to do these calls around 12 o'clock. And like I said, you'll have the recording as well, too. All right. So you guys have a phenomenal day. Peace.